it's a pleasure to continue with our conversation that we have in the city of Bath around Black History Month and what it means to us and the conversation that we need to have. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce Sam Notes today, who grew up in Bath, went to Beech and Cliff School, is now in his first year at Cardiff University studying sports rehabilitation and massage. Sam, you are a basketball player. You went to a school that is full of sporting prowess, and where boys can really thrive when it is around sport. So therefore, I think probably a school like Beech and Cliff was very suited to you personally. But there was also the thing that ultimately we live in a very wide city. You come from a different background. The school doesn't necessarily reflect the sort of all diverse backgrounds that we have in Bath. And in fact, we are just ultimately a wide community. Can you just let us know a little bit what that felt like, what it is like to grow up in Bath?
Yeah, of course. So I actually was born in London, and I came out of London when I was 6 and moved to Bath. And obviously coming from London, a very diverse city, and then moving to Bath, it was very, very strange. I did feel a lot out of place, almost, because, it is quite, your peers make it known that, you come from a different background almost, and it is hard to sort of, feel that you can be connected with them, because, you almost feel like you're sort of the point of interest or the joke, or so it's difficult sometimes. But to be fair, my primary school was very quite diverse, and people respected each other well, so that was a good time there. But then per se, like, secondary school was more difficult because there were people a bit more naive to it and thought they were perhaps making a joke or just being funny and not really seeing the bigger picture, how they might be being a bit more offensive and not realizing.
I actually went to school last week and saw the new equalities policy, which been working on, the school has been working on for a while. And clearly people have been telling me that they felt, great strides have been made towards making it differently. And you have now left the school, but in the last couple of years, did you feel that there, was really a different, and, what did that mean to you?
Well, seeing loads of videos have made me realize that they're starting to realize that there was a problem before, and it's actually quite it's made me quite happy to see that that they're starting to pick out the problems and starting to move past things that people might have been doing in the past. So yeah, it's quite prideful, to be honest.
Yeah, and as you said, sometimes people just do it out, you call it naive, but because they just don't know, and therefore the importance is to just raise it and talk about it. And I think that is a central point, isn't it? That we just need to talk about these things and raise awareness. You've been part of boys' minds, girls' minds too.
Correct.
Tell a little bit about your work and why that is so important for you and the projects that you're leading there.
Yeah, so the last project we did over reflecting on the Black Lives Matter and George Floyd, we talked about that, those issues, and we talked a lot about the negatives that were happening. But now we're going to be going into schools and having a look at the positives that they're doing. So we're going to be looking at the curriculum, looking at how the staff influences the children and the pupils. We're going to see if they have any equality teams in place. So that's going to be really interesting to see, and hopefully we can sort of bring to light some positive things that are happening, and we can start to inspire people more and then hopefully we can, start to come together as a country and be more equal.
So you're looking positively into the future. You think actually 20 might have been a breakthrough month?
I believe so, yes.
And so why do you think in the past all these things have been not as successful, and now is really the big difference?
Well, I think a lot of it just hasn't been talked about enough, because the problem is you might have a problem and then it just gets overlooked with the next issue, and then the next issue comes about and then that one gets forgotten about. So I think now it's really, we're starting to push a lot more, and people are getting the message, and we're making it hard for people to ignore the message. So they're starting to, join everything and be a part of the Black Lives Matter movement.
And have you thought about somebody like me, who's a white, middle-aged politician? What is the role that you think somebody like me should play in all of this?
Well, that's interesting, because, well, it really depends. I think if you could even, share the videos that we've been making in the projects and influence the following you have, then they might start to think about even more how we can start to push this message across the country.
So it is about working together. Well, my door is definitely, and it's been a real pleasure to have you on my conversation. I'm happy to come to whatever you want to invite me to, and I do believe, I want to share your positivity that we can make a difference. We can make a difference if we all work together. Thank you, Sam. That was really interesting.
Thank you very much, Wera.